I quite enjoyed the new Helluva Boss episode Mastermind that dropped yesterday. However, this episode is kinda dumb. Most of the opening is enjoyable. I love the drama, the song is good for Helluva Boss standards, and seeing Stolas at Blitz's home was very endearing. But what is the plot of this episode? Let's have a closer look at everything that happened. We start with a minute of Androlphus and Stella practically explaining what the rest of the episode is going to be about, catching everyone up on their whole thing. This is kind of annoying, it makes the story less surprising, like watching an episode with light spoilers. To be fair though, the last time we've seen them was 7 episodes ago, almost exactly 1.5 years. It's a necessary evil. While I enjoy the scene and we desperately needed to see more of Androlphus, he's the closest thing we have to a main villain at the moment, and it feels like he had about a minute of screen time before. I'm still a bit bummed out about how Stella's portrayed. We had the chance to have her, an integral part of Stolas' life and the mother of his child, to be an important antagonist. Instead we got her brother to take that role and make her dumb and angry sort of comic relief. I don't know why we bother to establish a third character that has less of an impact on Stolas emotionally, less shared history, and less characterization. Especially because even in this version, Stella's presence can be terrifying. We now switch over to IMP, where after a very short while, they frantically start destroying everything that could be incriminating. I quite like how everyone's approach is different. Moxie is organized, but the moment something goes wrong, he cracks. Millie uses brute force. Blitz is kind of all over the place, having wrong priorities, and Luna is also in the room. Does not do anything by herself though. A perfect reflection of how everyone is used in the series. The only thing I dislike in the beginning is the intern joke. They exist for the first 20 seconds, then are so irrelevant that they use a weird angle to hide them. They, I guess, teleport off Blitz's office, and the whole point was to use them as a comedic decoy, letting the rest of the team escape. However, they don't even get off the parking space, and the joke of them being decoys is so painfully obvious. There's literally no other reason to use silhouettes here besides it not actually being the IMP crew. Wasting our time on this in one of the shorter episodes of the season feels weird. We even end on the emotional high of Blitz getting notifications from people saying that they want to work for IMP. Yeah, why is that both the emotional ending and a throwaway joke in the beginning? That's such an odd decision. Let's get to the main part, the trial. This is where the plot turns soupbrained. Androlphus' plan seems to be to accuse Blitz of stealing the grimoire, forcing himself onto Stolas, and that he plotted to assassinate Stolas. The only thing he has evidence for is the assassination through Stryker's false statement, who is once again being dumb instead of dangerous. If Blitz gets convicted for this, it doesn't help Androlphus at all, who made sure that Stolas wouldn't be there for any of this by not telling him what's going on. When Stolas appears though, Androlphus is the only person who smiles like it went exactly to plan, and yeah, I'd be happy too if that happens, because what the hell is that plan? The only reason Stolas came is that he randomly saw it on TV, and still, he got there the very second Blitz almost died. Androlphus' whole plan could have failed entirely by Stolas taking a piss right now, who then takes the blame onto himself, and please be honest with me, am I dumb? I was legitimately confused the first time watching this. Taking the blame for what exactly? Forcing him onto himself? Stealing his own grimoire? Planning his own assassination? Well, yes. Planning his own assassination to blame it onto Blitz. I think. And why the hell would he do that if he wanted to get rid of Blitz? Have you seen how imps are treated? They get thrown around, kept in handbags as pets. Literally in the opening of this episode, one got frozen solid. And if he plotted the assassination, that would mean he loses his grimoire because... I don't know, man. By the way, remember that the whole time Blitz is being accused of stealing the grimoire to travel to the human world, he's having an Osmodian crystal on his wrist. Osmodius sure doesn't seem to remember. And it feels a bit surreal how little he tries to save the best friend of his lover. Fizz and Beelzebub, who I really didn't expect to speak again, very glad Kesha reprised her role, did a lot more than Ozzy, who raises his hand once and then kinda sits around next to all the other deadly sins. Well, except Lucifer, but he's stuck in Amazon Prime jail. I honestly like this episode, but what's happening? You can even hear them being as vague as possible in the song lyrics too. There's literally a single line talking about what the Mastermind was planning, and it is to breach the world of man. Talking about the Grimoire, of course, which is kind of its point, isn't it? At least the rest of the song is pretty good. Yes, it gets way too on the nose, but what song in the Helluverse doesn't? I'm just glad they got Patrick Page to voice Satan. I couldn't think of a single person more fitting for the role. And yes, Stolas is canonically a little songbird. The whole episode gives me a strong, we needed an emotional moment but wrote ourselves into a corner sort of vibe. They ignore so much of what happened, so many things that don't make sense to reach the point they want to bring the story to, which is one I quite like actually. We not only get rid of the biggest problem standing in the way of the Blitz-Stolas relationship being the power differential, at the same time we set up emotionally hard-hitting problems between Stolas and Oblivia. After all, to save Blitz, he did leave his daughter behind. I'm very interested in how the next episode will evolve the situation. After Ghostfuckers in my eyes was quite disappointing, I enjoyed this episode a lot. It has some glaring problems, but I'm at a point where I don't take Helluva Boss as seriously as Explode Hell anymore. Do you feel the same way and like watching the series a lot more than thinking about it? Or do you think I missed something that will explain everything? If so, please let me know. If not, on your way out, please leave a like.